Finger Man wants to be your friend. My name is Samuel, and I've lived a long life full of adventure and wonder. But nothing compares to the terror we faced one summer in Yellowstone. I'm an avid camper, have been for decades, and it was always my dream to share that passion with my grandchildren. I finally got the chance during the summer of 2018 when I took my two grandkids, Lucas and Emily, on a camping trip they would never forget. And neither would I, for all the wrong reasons. We set up camp in a secluded area, away from the usual tourist spots, to give the kids a taste of true wilderness. The first few days were perfect. We hiked, fished, and told stories around the campfire. The kids were fascinated by the wildlife and the vast, unspoiled beauty of the park. But as the sun dipped below the horizon on the fourth night, an unsettling feeling settled over me, a sensation I couldn't quite shake off. It started with the sounds. At first, it was just the usual forest noises, the rustling of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl. But then there were heavier, more deliberate sounds. Footsteps, I thought, but too loud to be any animal I knew. They circled our campsite, just beyond the reach of our firelight. Lucas and Emily noticed too, their eyes wide with fear. I tried to calm them, telling them it was probably just deer or elk. But deep down, I knew it was something else. Later that night, as the kids slept in the tent, I sat by the dying fire, keeping watch. That's when I saw them. Massive, shadowy figures moving through the trees. At first, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. But then one stepped into a patch of moonlight. It was enormous, covered in thick, dark hair, walking upright like a man, but far larger. My heart pounded as I realized what I was seeing. Bigfoot. There were 3 of them, circling our camp, communicating with each other through low, guttural sounds. My mind raced with panic and fear. What did they want? Why were they here? The largest of the 3 stepped closer, its eyes gleaming in the firelight, and I knew it wasn't just curiosity that brought them to us. Suddenly, a shrill cry pierced the night, Emily's voice filled with terror. I spun around to see one of the creatures reaching into the tent, its massive hand wrapping around her ankle. Without thinking, I grabbed the nearest thing, a burning log from the fire, and charged. I swung it at the creature, shouting and yelling, trying to drive it away. The heat and the flames seemed to startle it, and it released Emily, retreating with a roar. Lucas was awake now, crying and clinging to Emily. I held the burning log high, waving it back and forth, creating a barrier of flames between us and the creatures. They hesitated, growling and grunting, but eventually they backed away, disappearing into the darkness. We didn't sleep that night. As soon as the first light of dawn broke, we packed up and hiked back to the main road as quickly as we could. I kept looking over my shoulder, half expecting to see those haunting figures following us. When we finally reached safety, I reported the encounter to the park rangers, but they just nodded sympathetically, clearly not believing a word of it. To this day, my grandkids still talk about that night. It changed them, and it changed me. I've been back to Yellowstone since, but I never camp in the deep wilderness anymore. Whatever those creatures were, they're out there, and they're not just stories or legends. They're real. And that night, we came far too close to becoming their prey. Who can be your friend? The Finger Man can.